Good morning, evening, night, midday, 4 in the morning. It is I, Jay, the Sunday blogger for the Trans Youth channel, and that's exactly what you're watching, the Trans Youth channel. And this week's topic is music. And I could not be happier with that topic. I have an intense love of music. I play a lot of instruments, I listen to a lot of music, I sing. Music is very ingrained in my life at this point and has been for the past 6 years. But let's see, what music do I listen to? I listen to a lot of music. I like a lot of music. I like listening to some opera. I like listening to some classical. Country music has never really grasped me, but some of it's tolerable. I listen to... I like a lot of pop music. But I tend to be one of those people who I like a particular song from a particular artist and not really much else that they've done. But my favourite bands are Fall Out Boy, My Chemical Romance, Dramatic Tear Wipe because they broke up, and Rise Against. They would be my three favourite bands. Rise Against because of the power behind their music. A lot of their music is about really important things. Like, for example, Prayer of the Refugee is about, refugees. It's about people wanting to have a home because they don't have one anymore because they are refugees. They've been kicked out of their homes, effectively. Then, what else is there? Songs? Hero of War, about how war can be very glorified in a lot of cultures, particularly in American culture, and that in reality, war is an awful thing. Like, you may think soldiers are heroes, but at the same time, sometimes soldiers can do some very awful things when they're off at war. And that song highlights that. And they can often feel very guilty about these things themselves. And others of their songs also highlight important issues like that. Make It Stop is about the bullying of gay youth and names 5 children through the month of September in the year the song came out that killed themselves because they were being bullied for being gay, which is awful. There shouldn't... 5 children in 1 month, 5 teenagers. The youngest one was 13. That shouldn't happen. They're children. That should not be a thing that's happening. But yeah. Then My Chemical Romance. I listen to My Chemical Romance because the whole band is basically made up of people who did not fit in when they were younger, but they should have. And unlucky for them, they did not fit in. But they know what it's like to not fit in, and they know what it's like to have intense feelings of sadness and depression that you may have because you don't fit in, or just simply because you have not had an easy life. You've been bullied or something. Like, they have a lot of music that I can really relate to. And Fall Out Boy is just my joy music. I love Fall Out Boy. They're like a lot of their songs don't really make sense. You have to really listen to half the time you can't even hear the words. But when you can and you listen to them, sometimes they can be really deep and sometimes they're not. Like, for example, one of their happiest songs, Young Volcanoes, has a line that says, "Make it easy, say I never mattered." That is by far one of their happiest songs on that album, and yet that line is so depressing. So yeah, that's the music I listen to. Has my perceptions of music changed since I came out as trans? Well, I didn't start liking Fall Out Boy till after I came out to myself, at least, as trans. But I don't think that really had anything to do with me coming out. My friends eventually urged me to buy their most recent album, Say Rock and Roll. And then it just all took off from there. I bought loads of their albums on iTunes, and I think I've only got a few of their albums left to buy. Like, greatest hits albums, like. My Chemical Romance, the same kind of thing happened. I only started liking them after I came out to myself as trans and to a few of my friends, but I also don't think that was related to coming out. One one taste in music that I have acquired since coming out as trans is I have acquired a taste in what are they called? DWV. Those three cross-dressers, the drag queens. They have some very good songs and they are very funny. And one time I was in the car and I was trying to listen to Imagine Dragons Bleeding Out. I also like that band very much. But my dad, like my phone was hooked up to my dad's stereo system in the car and it can go a bit dodgy sometimes. So I selected Bleeding Out, but then Boy Is a Bottom came on and my dad just looked at me like just blaring in the car, this boy is a bottom, and my dad just looked at me like, and that's the story of I have not plugged in my phone to my dad's stereo system since. But I don't think my taste in music has changed very much, if at all, since I came out or in relation to my transition. Considering I haven't done very much, I've just come out to people. Well. Then the last one, gender stereotypes in music. This is an interesting one. Because stereotypically, girls are really into pop music. Or stereotypically, guys are really into rock music. And everything they listen to is really hardcore. But I personally, I personally don't think those are accurate because there are definitely some pop songs by artists that I wouldn't particularly like as people or in general as artists. I just really like specific songs of theirs. For example, Justin Bieber as a person, I don't like. But some of his songs I really, really like. Some of his earlier songs before he turned into a penis. Or like a dick, whatever you want to call him. And then I also do like hard rock as well. Like, I have a really varied taste in music, so I don't think I would be able to say much about the gender stereotypes in music. But also, I think in music it's this is this is directly related to music, as in music videos there's a lot of gender stereotyping. Like, for example, if any of you have seen the Blurred Lines video, you'll know what I'm talking about because there's a lot of naked women dancing around. And that song itself is about like rape and stuff. That's not a good subject for your song. And for like, secondly, there's women dancing around naked. You are demeaning the feminine gender, the female gender. It's kind of demeaning, and like, I get it that those people probably chose to be in that music video, but at the same time, sorry, the phone's ringing. Whoops, now I have to wrap this video up very quickly because my mum is about to come home. But long story short, I do love music. My music taste has not really changed since I came out to myself and to a few of my friends and my parents. And gender, often in music, women can be very demeaned. And sometimes people can be offensive with their music, but I don't think that there is much or too much stereotyping in terms of, I don't even know what I'm talking about now. Long story short, I have to go, I'm sorry. If you enjoyed this video, which I doubt you did because it's just me rambling about my music taste, you should like it. I'm not sure which side the like button is on. I think it's this side. And you should also, just below that, subscribe. Because, we make videos every week. And there's like one of us for every day. So we're making videos every day. You can see loads of us talking about the same thing for a week. It's very interesting though. Okay, I'm rambling now. I will see you next week if you subscribe, which you totally should, because all the other people who make videos on this channel are really cool too. Okay, bye! This week we're supposed to be talking about gender and sexuality and how they affect each other. And for the most part, I would say gender and sexuality do not affect each other.